When selecting a destination for my cultural plunge experience, I knew I wanted to visit a religious institution. There were many options here in Austin to choose from. I ultimately decided to visit a Hindu temple because I felt this experience would allow me to better understand many students and families I serve in my school district. Prior to my visit, I had contacted the temple to see, first of all, if it was okay for me to visit, and if so, what day and time would be best. I also inquired as to acceptable attire, not wanting to offend members of the temple. I was told that the highest volume of worship takes place on Sundays between 10:30 and noon, and to wear normal conservative attire. When I arrived at the temple promptly at 10:30 on Sunday morning, I was nervous to say the least. I didn't know what to expect. I walked up a set of stairs to the entrance of the building, where I saw many shoes outside the door. So I took my shoes off and went in. I met a young couple and told them that I'd like to visit their temple. "Where should I go?" I asked. The man gestured to come in, and I suddenly realized that I was in the temple. The man gestured to the god, a statue on an altar in the center of the temple. He told me I could walk around, and I realized that several people were actually circling the god's altar. I didn't understand why they were doing this, but I knew there must be some symbolism to their actions. I later learned that this act of circumambulating the god symbolizes God as the center of their existence and circling their thoughts around him. Circumambulating clockwise keeps the god always on the right side, symbolizing following the righteous path to the eternal truth. Two priests entered the temple and began bathing the god in milk, dressing him in flowers, and offering him bananas and coconuts. Again, I knew there must be some underlying meaning to this ritual. I later learned that gods are considered honored guests who must be cared for, loved, and adorned, thus the offering of food, drink, and flowers. The breaking open of the coconut symbolizes freeing one's ego and opening one's mind to the gods. What struck me was the personal nature of worship I observed. Everyone worshipped in their own way and on their own time. Some were watching the bathing ritual. Some were circumambulating the god. Others were kneeling or offering monetary donations. My first misconception was thinking that services would begin promptly at 10:30 and that everyone would gather together for simultaneous worship. It was also very different to see members enter and exit the temple at will, very different from my familiar church service with a set start and end time. My second misconception was thinking that everyone would be dressed in saris and typical Indian attire. I was surprised to see many people in jeans and t-shirts. It's difficult to truly understand the rituals and practices of other cultures through distant observation and research, and I would be naive to think that from this one visit to the Hindu temple that I fully understand the Hindu religion and culture. But coupled with my cultural readings, research, and discussions, I truly believe that my immersion in the personal experience of Hindu worship gives me greater insight than research alone. Understanding multiple cultures allows me to better educate my students on the value of cultural differences. As Robert Takaki so eloquently states, America is a nation peopled by the world. As an educator, I truly believe that my role is to foster love, acceptance, and appreciation for all cultures. It's interesting to take a step back, reflect, and realize that we're really not all that different. And what a beautiful realization that is. Due to the sacred nature of their temple, I was asked not to take photographs of my visit. Photographs and artwork are courtesy of the following. I hope you enjoyed coming along on my cultural plunge experience with me. Thanks, and gig'em!